call for ESPN with Dusty Dvorak and Dave Pasch, and she's joining us now on the Chuck and Bo Show as a proud Arkansas alum who will have her neutral hat on on Saturday night doing neutral the professional job that she always does. Taylor, welcome in. Good morning. Thanks for hopping on with us.
Hi, Taylor.
Yeah. Hi, guys. Good to be on with you. Looking forward to this one on Saturday. You guys know just the history between these two schools. I'm so fired up because I've certainly remembered the good ones between Ole Miss and Arkansas over the years, and I hope it's another good one on Saturday.
Do you ever just think back when you were a student and now you're involved in games like this and you're calling them on ESPN and you're reporting from the sideline and you're like, man, this is kind of surreal?
Yeah, I had one of those moments this week, especially with this game specifically. And I felt this way last year, too, when I did the Arkansas A&M game at Jerry World, because I loved attending that game as a student. But I have old photos of myself in the Grove at Ole Miss, Arkansas, the 4th and 25, like that game, I was there.
Wow.
It was crazy. So, yeah, just so many fond memories over the years. And then I'm pretty sure, I think it was LSU that was Bielema's first SEC win, and then Ole Miss, right? In November. Right. And those two games I remember very distinctly because of the drought of SEC losses. And so, yes, I do have these pinch me moments, and I'm just so thankful to be here because I don't take it for granted. I'm really looking forward to Saturday.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting, Taylor, to hear you say that, because those who followed the Razorbacks a long time remember when the Ole Miss rivalry was, it was the real deal. And then it went through a period there where it's not that big a deal. But you've seen 3 or 4, epic battles. And I just wondered, just from an ESPN perspective, is that part of the conversation going into this game? Is that what they are anticipating and obviously hoping for?
Yeah, I certainly shed some light on my experiences, and our producer came over. He used to produce the SEC Network Prime show, and this game has been on SEC Network Prime several times. So he's like, oh, yeah, we know, we've seen it. So I think all of us we always want a good game. That's what we all want. And so I think we're hopeful that this is going to be one. And then I think you also just look at the rosters and you look at the teams, and I think it should be. Not only considering the history, but I think you look at both rosters and it should be a great battle. So, yes, we do. We expect a good game on Saturday, and hopefully we get one.
What do you see when you dig into the matchup? What jumps out at you about this game?
Well, first for me, I think Taylen Green, and that's the obvious answer. Just the start that he's had with the 10 passing touchdowns, and you obviously look at it and you say, okay, consider the opponents. And so now it's like, all right, let's go on the road in the SEC and see if this can continue. I think for me, that's one of the biggest storylines. The other one, the other quarterback. The quarterbacks are always a story, and especially at Ole Miss, Austin Simmons, he had some issues last week at Kentucky turning the football over. Is he fully healthy? We think so. We don't know for sure yet. We'll see. And then can he take care of the football? So for me, that's kind of where it starts. And then obviously in the SEC, it's always about the line of scrimmage. And look, Ole Miss's offensive line a year ago struggled, and I would say last week they struggled against Kentucky too. And Arkansas has some new pieces on the D-line. Can they win that battle? Can they get pressure? Can they handle the mobility of Austin Simmons? We'll see. So those are kind of some of the storylines that I'm following, not to go on and on, but I think obviously the quarterbacks are the biggest story.
Well, on the other side, too, you were talking about Ole Miss's offensive line. Last year they had all these guys that seemed like every one of them went to the NFL. What are you hearing about what they have up front now?
Yeah, it's interesting, though, because remember, they allowed a lot of pressure on Jackson Dart. So I don't think they played up to the standard that everybody was expecting a year ago. And I know going into the offseason, focusing on the run game was very important for them. Obviously, getting a healthy running back was the key. They did that. But a lot of that also is the offensive line. I think they think they're improved up there, but watching that Kentucky game, I don't know. We'll see. So it's early. Everybody's figuring things out, and that's what's so hard in college football these days is that offensive line, and like everybody who covers college football talks about it. It's one unit, and they have to learn to play together. And the reality with all these moving parts is it just takes time because oftentimes you have new guys on the line, and so give them some grace there. We'll see if they're able to correct it as the season goes on. But I think early on the offensive line seems to be a little bit of a question mark for Ole Miss.
Taylor McGregor will call the game on Saturday on ESPN. She'll be on the sideline. She went to the University of Arkansas. I've got to ask you, just like from a feel, like going into this game, it feels like to us that this is one of those pivotal games that can tell you, man, you have a chance to have a great year. It doesn't ruin your season if you lose it, but boy, it can give you a lot of momentum if you win it. How big of a game does this vibe have for you going into it?
Oh, absolutely. I feel the same way. Especially for me, Sam Pittman seems to be super excited about his team, and I know he was a year ago too. We had them early at Oklahoma State and then against Texas A&M, and he was excited about his team. And obviously, at the end of the year, probably wasn't the result that he expected fully. It's a tough schedule, but I think this year you have the opportunity to really set the tone. And, okay, is this year going to be different? Going on the road in the SEC, trying to defeat a ranked team, a team that has been really, really good under Lane Kiffin, I think it could set an amazing tone to the season for Arkansas. And then for Ole Miss, it's kind of the opposite, right? Like, I almost look at it for them what the Kentucky game was a year ago. Maybe not to that exact extent, but like a year ago, Ole Miss, everybody considered a college football playoff team, and they lose at home to Kentucky. And really, you look down the stretch, they ended up losing to Florida, and that was really the dagger of why they didn't make the playoff. But like that set the tone early for them. They couldn't make a lot of mistakes. And I think if they lose to Arkansas, it gets interesting for them, and they can't make mistakes. And especially in this league, like it's a really hard league, and you can't give up opportunities. So, I completely agree with you, and I'm rambling a little bit. I think for both schools, it could set a big-time tone for what their season could be.
Taylor, I don't know that the country knows about Taylen Green. And Taylen Green has a lot of upside, and we've heard from scouts that talk about, his ability to be an attractive pick for NFL teams. Maybe of all the SEC quarterbacks, scouts love his upside. And we've seen him here for a year. Now he's got that experience. He's off to a start against teams that aren't that great, that's very good. But this feels like a chance, like a coming out party kind of opportunity, not to put added pressure on anybody, but this is the moment. This is why you play in the SEC. This is why you come to school at a place like this, and you want to be in a game like this.
No question. And it's funny because last week we heard from an NFL GM. I'm not going to say who, but he basically told us that he was going to be watching this game next week because of Taylen Green. So, yes, that's a real thing amongst scouts, amongst GMs, that they're aware of the upside of Taylen Green. I think for him, it's just managing the downsides. Like, he can have some really bright moments, and then he can have some head-scratching moments. And so I think being a little bit more steady, but I'm with you. I think the upside's there. And look, Bobby Petrino is the offensive genius, right? And he's the one who believes in Taylen maybe more than anybody else. And I talked to Taylen this week, and I asked him about that. I'm like, there's all the outside noise. You're always going to have outside noise no matter what level you play at. But when you have a quarterback or an offensive coordinator and then really just like a direct quarterback coach who believes in you and is telling you that you have the potential of a Lamar Jackson, a Heisman-winning quarterback, a NFL MVP type quarterback, like that has to give you confidence. And I think it does for him, and I think it should for fans too. Like, Bobby's the smart one here, and he is making this comparison. So I completely agree with you. I think he has real upside, and this is the year to show it. Obviously, it doesn't matter how much upside you have if you can't go out and prove it. So I think he's really looking forward to this opportunity to go do so on the road in a really tough conference in the SEC.
Taylor, big picture in the conference right now. I mean, I know we're only 2 weeks in, but what are your thoughts on the league right now? Has anything surprised you? Has anything jumped out at you and made you think that, it might be a little bit different than everybody thought?
I think for me, really since NIL was introduced, since the transfer portal, now that we have a sample size of a few years to evaluate the way that it's impacted college football, there's a ton of ways it's impacted college football. But I think what it's done in the SEC is it's made it really tough from top to bottom. You just don't have the runaway favorite like a Georgia or like an Alabama was for so many years. I think you could look down the list, and there's several teams you could make the case could win the conference. So I think it's a really exciting time to be a part of the SEC because there's parity. There's uncertainty. I don't know who's going to win. I mean, obviously Texas right now, the favorite, but is Arch Manning who everybody believes that he is? It's his first year starting. We'll see. Could Arkansas beat more teams and really sneak in there into the national conversation to be one of the best teams in the SEC? I think they can. So I just am excited to see the way that it all plays out because I just think from top to bottom it's such a solid conference, but you just don't have the clear runaways like you had in years previously.
Yeah, and again, this week, not just for Arkansas Ole Miss, but there's several games this weekend in the league that are going to begin to define the season. Taylor, before we get you out of here, we got a little inside information. Kyle Graves, who we work with, and you went to school with, wanted me to ask you about your days in college, about the punters are people too movement. What are the punters are people too?
Okay, so Toby Baker is one of our good friends, and that was sort of what we adopted with him is Toby Baker, we love you. Punters are people too. So that's really where that comes from. So Kyle is awesome. Hi, Kyle, if you're listening. And Toby Baker, what great years it was watching him play football at Arkansas. And so that's kind of where that comes from.
Maybe get kickers in there as well.
Yeah, kickers are people too, and so are broadcasters. I mean, we can go on down the list.
That's right.
Hey Taylor, are you you doing baseball right now too? I mean, you work for the Cubs. You mixing the two of them right now? How's that working out?
It's not a lot of sleep. It's coming home. I was in Atlanta last night. We got home at 2 a.m. And it's funny because people are like, well, why didn't you just stay and fly out of Atlanta to go to Oxford? I'm like, you guys, 8 hours at home is gold to me right now.
Yeah.
I'm not staying on the road for a week if I can go home for 8 hours. So yeah, it's definitely my busy season, but I'm thankful, and the Cubs are making a playoff push.
Well, you got October baseball coming too.
I'm gonna tell you right now, Taylor, if I'm lying, I'm dying. Neither Chuck or I would have agreed to come on at 8 o'clock on any show after getting home at 2 a.m. last night.
Certainly wouldn't have sounded as chipper as you did.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
That too.
Yeah.
This is just how much I love you guys, okay? Take it as a compliment.
I will.
I wouldn't do this for just anybody.
Well, hey, we appreciate it, and we're excited that you're on the call on Saturday. We'll be watching. Chuck will be there calling it, and maybe you guys will run into each other.
Thank you, Taylor. Thank you for getting up early.
Of course. Yes, look forward to seeing you, Chuck. And, Bo, enjoy Fayetteville, and hopefully we'll see you at some point soon.
Absolutely. We'll do it again, Taylor. Thanks again for making time for us.
Of course. We'll talk to you guys later.
All right, Taylor McGregor, U of A grad, and killing it.
She's living the dream right now. I mean, you think about this. She's sideline college football. She's got playoff baseball coming up with the Cubs. I mean,
she's prime time. She's prime time ESPN on Saturday night in a big game.
Very, very happy for her.
Yeah, and she's done a great job.